evil on me, Ricky Bobby. Don't you put that on us.
Oh, that's what's happening to the New York Giants right now. Are they Charmin soft? That's a tag you don't want. This stems New York Giants Straight Talk, powered by Online Big Blue LLC. Want to talk about the comments out of the locker room. Want to talk about Joe Shane. Want to talk about Malik Chippy, my neighbors. The season has gone from bad to worse. And you really don't think it's... I mean, honestly, did you really think it was possible? You kind of thought that the whole Daniel Jones debacle would have just kind of blown over a little bit. And Daniel Jones, of course, is now a free agent, looking at all the options ahead of him. I love it because I spoke to someone that worked in the NFL for 35 years, and basically he said, you know what? You get what you get with Daniel Jones. He's on the marketplace because you can win with Daniel Jones for an extremely short period of time. And if you're a playoff team and you're worried about injuries and you're worried about, having the capability to move forward in the playoffs, then you could use a quarterback like Daniel Jones because for like 2-3 games, he may look, average or maybe above average. But he was never going to win in New York. He's probably never going to win anyplace else. But like you said, he is a quarterback of moments, and, that's what the playoffs are basically full of. They're full of moments. I have to laugh. I was cutting the first video of New York Knicks Unleashed this morning, and I kind of thought with everything going on with this season and this season being over and, Daniel Jones finally leave, and I kept telling people, I think this might be the, the moment that I can step away. Because the idiocy is over. We don't need the bastion of truth and honesty in the sea of diarrhea. But then I look at Twitter and I look at these spaces and I look at other videos and all I think of is,
that's when I thought I was out. They pulled me back in.
You pull me right back in because now there's even more idiocy and more things that need to be explained. I can just do a video of all the things that I've seen that is 100% wrong from the vis-a-vis football logic on Twitter about the Giants. I literally could do like a 4-hour episode, but I'm not going to do a 4-hour episode because of the fact that it's just not worth it. But you know what? Evidently, I'm still needed. But we have to think about this. What do the New York Giants need? Because you look at what's going on with Brian Daboll. You look at what's going on in the locker room. You look at what's going on with Ellie Moore Fudd and Dexter Lawrence and Malik Neighbors. And they're calling the team soft. They're calling the team, and I laugh because as you're sitting there calling the team soft, and these three players are, the three of you have not really been putting up recently massive numbers. So are you including yourself in that softness? I'm just curious about that. And also, we need to get for our team right now and quickly. And that even goes up with Joe Shane, the general manager. We need media training because this team does not have any media savvy. These players have I think they almost have zero media training. Let's listen before we get into anything. Let's listen to the first comment by Malik Chippy, my neighbor.
It ain't the quarterback. Same outcome when we had DJ at quarterback. I mean, take a look. It ain't the quarterback. So
what do you think?
What is it? I don't know. I don't know what it is. Is it the play? Everybody know better than me. Is it the play call?
You want to know why everyone knows better than you? Because you're a fucking rookie. Oh, I wish this was the 80s and the 90s. Because if a rookie spouted off like this, oh, God, they would have been put in their place the next Monday in that fucking locker room. Everyone knows better than you, Malik, so I'm going to give you a little hint because you played like 10 games in the NFL so far. And as you think you are Jamar Chase, as you think you're Justin Jefferson, as you think you're Randy Moss, your stats don't say that. Brian Thomas Jr., Ladd McConkey, what's his name? Bowers, the tight end, all have better statistics with you with equally bad quarterback play. Your yak is abysmal. Yes, we've talked about the fact that your quarterback needs you to be put into position to catch the ball. But then for you to sit there and say, well, it's not the quarterback. Yeah, it is the quarterback. Yes. You replaced Daniel Jones with Tommy DeVito, and Tommy DeVito, an undrafted free agent at Illinois and Syracuse, put up the exact same numbers as your $40 million quarterback. So yes, it is the quarterback. And the chomping of the fucking gum, that is a nerve. That is called nerves. You are nervous to say what you were about to say. So the fact that you wear your sunglasses and chomp on that fucking gum like I don't know what tells me you are nervous to say what you are about to say. So you know what? That should be a good indication to take a big tall glass of shut the fuck up.
We'll take 3 more.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what it is.
I got a good idea what it is. You want to talk about lack of effort? You want to talk about people being soft? Why don't you look in the mirror? I've forgiven the 4th down drops. I have forgiven we even showed photos of it from the game yesterday. Plays where you just look totally disinterested. There's the one picture I showed where he is literally there's 10 other guys over on the other side of the field with the 11 other guys over with the Buccaneers, and Malik is all the way by himself tapping his foot all the way across the other side of the field. You knew what you were getting with Malik Neighbors. You knew from the beginning. No ifs, ands, or buts. You knew he was going to be a diva. You knew he was going to have attitude. But for a guy to play less than 10 games, to come out and run his mouth about what's wrong with the team, what's wrong with the coach staff, what's wrong with anything else, I may be old school, but I'm going to say it again, Malik, and I'm going to say it for the cheap seats. Drink a big, tall glass of shut the fuck up and play. That's what you need to do. Because unless I've missed something, you only have 2 touchdowns. Unless I missed something, you have been targeted the second most times in the entire league, and you have 600 yards? And like I said, there are people right now, there are rookie wide receivers, 2 of them which I named, which are playing with just as poor quarterback play, but somehow are more productive than you are. And now listen, it's not your fault that you came here to save the quarterback, because we went against all conventional wisdom and decided we are going to draft a wide receiver at 6 to fix our quarterback. And now that quarterback's not even on the team. And the person that made this decision was going to be Joe Shane and Brian Dable. But for you to take shots at a team as a rookie and to have people on Twitter be okay with it, that's what's wrong with this franchise, and that's what's wrong with a segment of this fan base. When you unretire the first number ever retired in NFL history and give it to a rookie who has done nothing, you have created your own prima donna. So do you blame Malik Neighbors for that? No, because that's who he is. But there needs to be a locker room presence. There needs to be a leadership. Maybe there needs to be a guy that's, I don't know, an all-pro or a pro bowler who's got paid by this team, and he should come out and say, you know what, we didn't play the way we wanted to play. We didn't play the way we want to play for the fans, but we did what we're going to need to fix this, figure it out and fix this. Instead of having a leader come out and say shit like this.
Are you angry?
Extremely. We play soft, and they beat the out of us today.
When you say you played soft or your ball club played soft, can you be more specific?
We missed a lot of tackles. We didn't contain Baker well in the scrambles. We didn't cover well. It's soft to me.
Are you more...
First of all, that's not soft, Dexter. You know what that is? That's not playing well. That's not knowing your assignments. That's not caring in practice. That's not putting forth the effort. Effort can disguise a lot of deficiencies in talent, and this team lacks a lot of talents. But for the leader of the team to come out and say, we're angry because we played soft. That's not playing soft. That's not playing well. Playing soft means you're like Sharman. Playing soft means you were ripped through. Playing soft means you gave up. And if that's what you think is going on with this team, maybe you need some self-reflection and look in the mirror, because of the fact that you are supposed to be a leader of this team. You are supposed to be the Pro Bowler. You are supposed to be the All-Pro. You are supposed to be the anchor. And then for you to come out and say, well, man, we're playing soft. Okay, why don't you tell us a little bit more about your play? I know you like to use the word we in there, which is fine, which is great. But at the end of the day, you are the captain. You are the leader. You are supposed to get on these people's faces and on the sidelines and say, listen, we need maximum effort. I am 19 rows away from the 50-yard line every game, and I don't see you going up there and rallying your troops. I don't. And I think that's culture. We always talked about Joe Schoen and culture. We never wanted to use the word culture, but there is no leadership on this team. There's no leadership in this locker room. When you have a rookie wide receiver spouting off like he's got Jerry Rice numbers and all these touchdowns, and he's the reason you get targeted the second most times in the NFL, you would think even once by accident, you would have some yak. You would do a move, you would do something that would allow yourself to gain separation and score a touchdown. But no, Malik, you're going to sit there and be OBJ without the OBJ stats. And like I said, I don't blame the kid because this culture was created that we are going to have a diva wide receiver, but the problem is we're treating him like a diva and he hasn't put up diva numbers yet. So you could talk about being soft all you want. You could talk about this. But at the end of the day, Dexter, I'm going back to Dexter now. You are not sitting there and saying that, you know what, this is what I'm going to do as the leader of this team to fix this. This is what we need to do. This is what they need to do. Right off the bat. Honestly. There is talent on the team. There is. This team is not devoid of talent. I said this is not a 2-win team. This is a 5 to 6-win team. This is not a 2-win team. And you're like, well, Tim, there's really not a big difference between 2-win team and a 5-6 team. It's about draft position. Oh God, the stupidity. I'm not even gonna get into that idiocy. But that is idiocy. And one day we'll fully sit down and explain it. But what's going on with this team right now is just disgusting because of the fact this is a complete breakdown of leadership from the top up, from John Mara to Joe Schoen to Brian Daboll. And let's talk about Joe Schoen a minute because while this team has talent, a lot of it's not even his talent. People are like, well, we got to give Joe Schoen one more year to draft. Let's talk about that. Darren Beavers, garbage. McKeithen, garbage. DJ Davidson, backup. McFadden, average NFL player. Dane Belton, garbage. Daniel Bellinger, garbage. Cordell Flott, garbage. Jonathan Azuda, garbage. Wan'Dale Robinson should be Darren Sproles. Evan Neal, bust. Kayvon Thibodeau, probably a bust. Go to the next draft. Owens, bust. Riley, backup. Trey Hawkins, garbage. Eric Gregg, garbage. Jalen Hyatt, we don't know what the hell's going on with Jalen Hyatt. JMS. Before we took JMS at 57, I did a video, and I said Joe Tippmann is a better fit for the Giants, and he's a better fit as a NFL center. And I pointed out the fact that JMS lost weight coming out of school. He was a wrestler, but he doesn't seem to understand leverage, and he's going to be undersized, and he's going to get bullied and pushed around at that center position. And I was told I had no clue what I was talking about. He's given up the most sacks of a center. The pressure's always coming from that interior, from that center position, because of the fact that the kid is just not big enough. He's just not strong enough, and he doesn't understand how to use his leverage to help him. Plain and simple. It was not hard to diagnose. And I love people on Twitter. Who saw that coming about JMS? Well, I did. A lot of people in the league did. A lot of scouts had the exact same concerns I did. But you feel bad for the kid because he's a good kid. Deontay Banks. People are saying that he's garbage now, even though his stats are pretty much the same. He's just not the ball hawker. The ball guy can do. He's not Xavier McKinney. Hell, he's not Dane Belton. And this year's draft, Tyrone Tracy. Fumbleitis. And people are like, why is Brian Daboll benching his best offensive weapon and Tyrone Tracy? Because he fumbles every game. You can't keep turning the ball over. Theo Johnson, another one, garbage. Maybe a good tight end down the road. We don't know yet because it's still way too early. Phillips. How many interceptions does Phillips has? How many pass breakups does Phillips has in 10 games? I'm not sure. Tyler Nubin, basically to me, should be a linebacker. Malik Neighbors, I think you know what I think about Malik Neighbors right now. There are so many swings and misses in this draft that it's not even funny. But we want to give Joe Shane the opportunity to sign a quarterback or draft a quarterback when he already did that with Daniel Jones. We've said this a million times before. When the ink dried on that $160 million deal, Joe Shane and Brian Daboll picked their quarterback, and their quarterback was Daniel Jones. So you're going to give him a chance now to pick a second quarterback? When you take a look at the draft, let's count the draft failures. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I would say in the last 3 years, I'm not really counting this year's draft, there's about 15 draft failures by Joe Shane. Plain and simple. Not that difficult. The draft is a crapshoot anyways, but when you have this type of record with Joe Shane, there's something very wrong here. And I'm sorry, Malik Neighbors has 3 touchdowns. I apologize. Do I think this team has given up at times? 100%. 100%. And I say this all the time, and I'm going to keep saying it over and over again, especially to the people that break down the Giant games and break down the tape and everything else. And I know a lot of these people live in the New York area and they don't go to the games. They don't put their money where their mouth is because they rather just take their steal the super chats and not actually give anything back to anybody. It is totally different to watch an NFL game live, especially where I sit, than it does on TV. It's totally different. Totally different experience. You think you can catch certain nuances on the tape, but you can't. You have to actually physically watch the games. There was so many times over the last couple of years that we had to hear before when the Daniel Jones lovers were out, Daniel Jones just doesn't have anybody open. And then you go to the game and you sit there and go, well, Wando Robinson's open, Hyatt's open, Darius Slayton's open. Because the film doesn't show everything. Being there and seeing it from a good vantage point does. So at the end of the day, let's sit here and think, because of the fact that if you think you're not giving the maximum effort, if you think you don't think there's talent on this team, go to a game and watch. And if you think that your team is quit and you think your team is Charmin soft, as a leader, fix it. Do you think Harry Carson would have tolerated any of this shit? Think Lawrence Taylor would have tolerated any of this shit? No. You think Phil Simms would have on offense? No. And then for people to try to sit there and tell the people that were defending, I love it because the people that were defending Joe Shane forever sat there and Brian Dale all of a sudden want him fired. Oh, they want him fired in season. They don't even want to wait anymore. These are the same people that wanted to keep Daniel Jones, then we got rid of him. Now they're pining the fact that we don't have Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones has never been a good quarterback. You are pining for garbage. Let's be honest. In the annals of NFL history, no one should have gotten as many chances as Daniel Jones got to succeed, and he failed almost every single time. They need to just flush this entire season down the drain. I know what we need to do. We need to neuralize people over the last 6 years so they can forget about the golden boy that was never golden. That was always tarnished. And for the people that are here right now and still playing, play with some pride, play with some passion. You know what you need to do?
Time to nut up or shut up.
It's time to nut up or shut up. I don't want to hear about, well, I don't know what's wrong, man. I don't know. I don't get it. Maybe because, Malik, you're not actually doing your part as well. Same thing with you, Dexter. Same thing with you, Ellie Morfudd. And then the Giants, I love the Giants, because then they roll out a big Fadden and Runyon yesterday. The only 2 players they made available for the Zoom press conference. And they all said the same thing. I don't think this team quit. There is such a division and divide in this locker room. It's not even funny because we are a rudderless ship with 100% lack of leadership. From Mara to Shane to Daboll to the coaches to everything else. And to the flip-flop, fickle fans, you got to stop. Because it is what it is right now. 100%. 1,000%. We're a bad team. We're not a 2-win team, but we are a bad team. We were going to be a bad team. We have gotten steadily worse over the last 3 years, and the culprit starts with the guy that, it's people call me a genius, but it's like almost impossible to screw up 5 and 7. Well, you did. You also screwed up Saquon Barkley. You also screwed up Daniel Jones. You also didn't stagger the contracts of Dexter Lawrence and Andrew Thomas. You also did not divide up the cap money. I'm going back to Logan Ryan. I'm still pissed about the fact that you didn't divide up the cap money of Logan Ryan. You took it all under one season. You let Julian Love walk, even though he came back hat in hand when he misread the market. You didn't even give Xavier McKinney a shot. You didn't even offer him a contract. Now he's the best safety in the league. Evan Ingram somehow couldn't catch a cold here with New York with Daniel Jones, but turns around and has second most passes by a tight end in NFL history in a single season last season. You trade for Brian Burns, and you knew we weren't a defensive end away when you had a carbon copy of the same guy in Kayvon Thibodeau. You went out and got Darren Waller, who was 2 years removed from his best season vis-a-vis injury. You went out and gave Paris Campbell money when Paris Campbell said, I couldn't get anyone to give me fucking money. You do all these things, and we're supposed to sit there and say, well, we got to give Joe Shane another year. And listen, people, and this is the other football stupidity I see. You're not going to fire your head coach on a short week, going on a road game. Stop. Just stop. You want to fire him after Dallas, fine, but you're not going to go off a short week on a Thursday night game after a loss at home and fly over to Dallas with an upheaval of your entire staff. You want to talk about dysfunction? That would be the epitome of dysfunction. I'm not going anywhere. You motherfuckers need me. You need me because there is too much stupidity and a sea of diarrhea of misinformation. There is. And I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to have to work now to do the Nick podcast and to do this. I don't have time to do all this stuff. I'm too busy. But I'm going to do it. And I will leave when this happens.
Do you see the light? What light? Have you seen the light?
Yes! Yes! Jesus H. goddamn Christ! I have seen the light!
Once this organization figures it out, once this fan base figures a segment of this fan base, I should not paint with a broad brush because there is probably 75% of intelligence out there in reference to this Giant fans, and then another 25% that just wants to be toxic and negative. But you know what? That's all I'm going to say. Because I've said it before, and I will say it again.
You don't want the truth because deep down in places you don't talk about at parties. You want me on that wall. You need me on that wall.
And as always, that wraps it up. This is Tim's New York Giants Straight Talk, powered by Online Big Blue LLC. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, don't forget to ring that bell because you want to know why. Well, that'd be awesome.